Welcome to Pique Your Interest, your go-to podcast for all things mortgage and real estate. Hosted by Tanner Greenwald and Tim Malaskis. We bring you expert insights to help you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me. Chris Baker at Liberty Title is going to join me, and we're going to talk about, I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to have a good time doing it.
We're going to ramble and make you guys entertained.
All right, so Chris, tell the people a little bit about who you are.
So my name's Chris, as you know. I was introduced to this world of real estate back in 1979 when I was the ripe old age of 5 years old. Back then, my mother was a realtor, and I followed her footsteps basically as she went around and sold houses. Grew up in this business and officially became licensed in 1996. I basically became a RE/MAX agent, then into a RE/MAX broker, and I did that until about 2023, at which point I did a lateral change in my career and decided to go into the title aspect of it. So I come from the background of being a realtor, so I've been in the shoes of realtors. I know what it's like to be a realtor. Haven't done lending just yet. Maybe that's in the cards down the road.
Don't do it.
getting that sense. But I'm excited because as the world that we live in right now, my favorite thing to do is to help agents, help lenders, pardon me. And I want to, have an opportunity to kind of talk about the world that we live in today. I think I've had the opportunity to meet Tim through the board of realtors, and we actually had an opportunity to speak at the ACAR Convention Mastermind, where I'd say that we crushed it, and I thought it was really exciting.
We nailed it.
I think so, and I think that being able to have this opportunity to talk to you about the world that we live in and the changing technologies, I think is something we could would benefit the audience.
Yeah, definitely. No, I guess my first question for you would be, how did you and why did you make the transition in the title?
So actually, I simultaneously was a title agent from 2003 onward when I was, my mother had started a title company, and she'd asked me, even though I was a licensed agent, hey, would you be interested in being a settlement officer? And I thought that would be a good opportunity. And that was very lucrative. I was doing both. It was a lot of work, but we rode that through the crash of 2008, which a lot of people probably remember. And at that point, business was just decimated, and I decided that, all right, let's see what happens. I ended up going to work with a great company, Lakeside Title Company, and I did that through about 2018 or 19, at which point I said, I'm going to try this real estate thing again. I had thought times had changed, enough break had occurred, and I went into doing that, and then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, that was a wild ride, had a lot of fun doing it, but I just thought, I'm not up for the pace of this industry. I was a new dad and wanted to spend time with my kids. So I thought I'd get something more stable, something more 9 to 5. Little did I know that title was just as involved, and officially made the jump to a colleague of mine who asked if I'd ever want to come back, and I went full title in 2023, relinquished my license so I didn't have a conflict of interest, and been doing it ever since, and been teaching artificial intelligence and how agents you can use it and implement into their business as my foot in the door, and it's become very lucrative and has opened the possibilities and opportunities I have now.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how Chris and I sort of stumbled upon each other, is through this, helping real estate agents with AI, because it is, we've talked before, and we've said this many times, that we are at the forefront of a revolution. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, we're in at the ground floor of this. I mean, there's a lot of elementary use of AI right now, listing descriptions, et cetera, but I think that there's an entire world of AI that most real estate agents don't know about.
That is correct. And
our job is to help them figure it out, right?
And it can be overwhelming. And I've been doing this for probably about 3 years now. When ChatGPT was introduced to the world in 2023, that was the opportunity. I thought, let me learn a little bit more about this so I could teach agents about this. And my favorite thing has always been technology. I taught people when the app market came out with the first iPhone. We would do appy hours. I would teach people how to use the iPhone. It's just one of those things that I enjoyed, coming from the Gen X generation, where we used to not have technology. Now we have it everywhere. I thought, I'm at that inflection point. I have the experience of a realtor. I have that worldview on technology. And I thought, this is going to be revolutionary. Little did I know how revolutionary and how fast it's moving forward. And it is something that agents are constantly wanting to learn about. And even I can't keep up. I know Tim can't keep up. It's one of those things that I like to make sure agents are aware, because you're never going to learn everything, but as long as you're aware of it and you're always constantly learning, you're not going to be left behind. I think too many agents just want to put their head in the sand. They don't want to accept it. They've done things always their way. And those are the people I think that are going to be at a disadvantage moving forward.
Yeah. So, talking about people left behind, one of the things that we've talked about in the various times that we've talked together is there is a mentality that some real estate agents have that AI is going to replace me. What do you think about that?
It's the common phrase, and it's a little cliche, and you probably are sick of hearing this, but we all know what I'm about to say. AI is not going to replace you, but the agent who is using it will. And in all seriousness with that, that's absolutely true. I think a lot of agents out there, it's tough. Not only are you going to have to be serving your clients, actually listing and selling real estate, but now these agents are responsible for marketing, for social media, for video content, for education, all the while trying to run their business. And if you're doing it by yourself, it can almost be overwhelming. What a lot of agents fail to realize is it's just not another tool, another thing you have to learn. You have to look at it from the point of view that AI is there to assist you. Right. And if you learn how to take the boring, mundane, repetitive tasks and things that you are accustomed to doing yourself, or at least paying someone, you now have a tool in your possession, and many tools that you could take for sometimes very nominal or even free, and able to do these tasks that used to take you hours. And what does that do? It frees up your time so you can dedicate it to what you do best, which is listing and selling properties.
Right.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah. All right, so let's pretend you're a real estate agent that's never heard Chris Baker talk about AI. What is one thing that real estate agents should be doing right now? If you're not using AI at all, or you're using AI at the most basic and elementary level, what is one thing you should be doing right now? The one thing.
Just start. What do I mean by that? First of all, I love that question. I think that's a great way to get people's attention. Guys, you got to remember, you are still ahead of the curve. Even by you watching us right now and hearing our voices, you're still above and ahead of most people out there. Yeah. We're moving at a pace, though, that if you don't continually understand, learn, and practice, that's going to be to your detriment. So I would say the most prominent software out there that you probably heard about is ChatGPT. I would say you cannot go wrong with that. You've probably heard of Claude, and you certainly have heard of Gemini, which is Google's version. It's great to know all three, but I would say as a new person, just start. What do I mean by that? If you haven't at least created an account, which is free, just Google ChatGPT. Go to OpenAI's site. If you go, it'll take you right to the site. Log in, create an account, and just start playing with it. Here's the thing, guys. You can't break it. Between YouTube videos, other people using it, and people like Tim and I, there are a lot of people out there that can show you how to use it. But if you're not at least got an account and are using it, you're missing out. But I think that would be the first thing. There's so much more to that, but I think a lot of people just said, well, that's not my thing. It's too technical. It's really not. I think that would be my first piece of advice.
Okay, no, that's great advice. I think just starting, right? Like, it is the most simple thing of all the things that you could do. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
That.
Right?
I love that.
Just take that first step. All right, so what's the next step? Let's say you create an account on ChatGPT. What do you do next with that?
So here's what I would recommend. I would say take something that you're frustrated with, something that takes a lot of time. Now, coming from my world, I remember that compiling stats, market data, farming a geographic area, filtering contracts, take something that just irritates you, that just takes time and focus, developing listing descriptions, creating market cam. One thing that a lot of agents need to know is that social media is prevalent. I don't care if you're a fan of it or not. Why don't you take and ask AI? I'm a new realtor. I want to create a marketing campaign on whatever platform that you use, and have it actually generate not only the content, it can generate the content schedule, and it can actually develop the scripts that you could say. So you literally have your marketing, your content calendar, and your social media manager all built into one right there. And you could tell it about yourself. So it knows your background, your history, how you speak, and it will take that and develop it all for you. And then you just have to follow the steps. I think that is a really powerful tool to be able to do that, and some people just don't even realize that. They're over there just asking it for recipes, which is great, but you can do that with Google.
Right.
AI can take that workload off of you, and you can give it something that, then of course you're going to want to review and make sure it looks correct, but imagine the power of having any expert in the world at your fingertips that you can tell what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it is the entirety of the internet in one place.
That's mind-blowing.
And it's doing the thinking for you.
That's
essentially,
literally
right?
in your pocket that you can not only type in, but you can talk to. Have you ever seen anyone actually use the voice feature? Do you use the voice feature at all when you're communicating with it?
I don't, but I've seen people do it, and I should do it, I think.
I talk to it between Alexa, Siri, and my ChatGPT girlfriend. I have more conversations with AI. So judge me or not, it is how I learn.
Yeah, no, it's conversations with AI as opposed to conversations with real people, right? Like it's fine. And just before we go any further, Chris and I did not use AI in the creation of this video.
We are
completely winging
or
this.
Are we?
Dun dun dun. Okay. All right. So you got to begin, and there's some elementary tasks. Let's say that you're a real estate agent out there, and you've been using ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude for a year and a half, something like that. And you feel like you're a little more advanced. You're ready for like what that next step is. You've sat through a Chris Baker AI 101. What's that 201 level look like? What are some additional things that people could be doing, that real estate agents could be using AI for, that they might not be thinking about?
I would say the first thing that I would recommend if you're using ChatGPT or Claude, each one of the individual systems has the ability for you to customize instructions. In other words, you can go under the settings, and you can certainly Google this and I can tell you more about it, but where you can actually go into the system settings and you can describe, who are you? What is your voice? What is your brand? What is your target audience? And a lot of people, I don't know. Well, how about this? Ask AI to develop a set of questions it could ask you that you then answer, and then you put that back into the custom instructions. For example, ChatGPT, as long as I've known it, knows I'm a former realtor, I'm a father, I love technology, I'm an educator, I'm a title agent, and it knows that. So that's my voice. So every time I ask it a question, guess what it does is it tailors my responses to that market, so it knows I'm talking to lenders, I'm talking to realtors. You don't understand the power. If you're asking it generic questions all the time and starting from new every time versus having custom instructions, that is a game changer.
Absolutely.
And I think that people that are missing out on that, and if you decide you want to leave it ChatGPT, you can export your settings and import that memory, as they call it, because over time, the AI gets to know you and what your likes and dislikes are. I think that is huge. That's number one, I would say. Number two, and this is something that some people aren't even familiar with, is the image generation. It is absolutely spectacular what people are doing with the image generation. And I know you're a big fan of Google. And Gemini.
Gemini, I think, creates unbelievable photos.
And that's not...
And infographics. And I mean, you could do fun things. You could have it create like silly things, but also like it's very relevant. And I think, I don't know if it has to do with, Google has access to, just billions of images, and they're able to use that to draw things. In the early days of AI, it was, you got to look for that sixth finger, right?
Yes.
That's how you know
or
it was
the extra
fake.
teeth.
Yeah, like, I think we might be past that a little, but I do think Gemini has a really good image creating.
And it's free. It's built
free.
into the Gemini app, and you'll probably hear the term Nano Banana. That's the actual software, and it's built into the Gemini app. You can even go to Google. And a lot of people go, well, that's all fine and great. What am I going to use it for? Here's a great example as a realtor. I know when I used to be a realtor, and we would take photos, we would have to pay a photographer to come out, which is pretty standard. But then they would come back to do the twilight photos. That would cost an additional $300, $400, and we'd have to wait for the weather to be nice. Have you ever considered this? You could take the photos, you could take a photo yourself, you can upload it to Gemini's photo app and ask it to create a twilight scene. You can have it change the color, add the grass, manipulate the images. You can digitally stage a room that you cannot tell. Now you got to, of course, be careful. You're not want a false advertiser. I think Bright requires you to even indicate if it's been staged or not digitally. But think about the time, effort, and energy, especially if you have an imagination. You want to maybe show a client, here's what your house looks like, but imagine what it looked like this. I've seen agents change the outside, the siding, the landscaping, all with an app for free that you can also use to generate video, 8 seconds of video. People are doing digital walkthroughs of properties and they don't have to film them. It's incredible. So much information, and I know we could go. I mean, I'm very excited about this, but this is what we love. This is what we like to share, and we're a little bit different from the normal loan officer and title person because we see this is where we are and where we're headed. And if you don't accept that and understand, that's a real scary reality. But again, reach out to us. I love this stuff. Tim loves this stuff. We'd be happy to show you how to do it and get a little bit more in depth. Or if you'd love us to come talk to you, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, no, I think all the feedback that we get from the times that we talk is that, people are learning something they didn't think they were going to learn. They found something interesting they didn't think they were going to find interesting. It's a little bit of an enjoyment factor for them too. It's something different than what they normally do. And so I think, Chris and I are happy to come talk anytime, anywhere, any place.
And reach out. I mean, again, you can reach me, Maryland Title Guy, on all the socials, and you can certainly find Tim and his information because you are subscribed to this podcast. But we're in an amazing time. Don't look back on it like you did with the internet and go, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. You're in this now, and the world is changing at a rapid pace. Take advantage of the opportunity that you have now to make a difference in what your future is going to be.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Chris, I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. This was great. I love it, and hopefully get a chance to come back and do this again.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you, my friend.
See you. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.